Okay, I'm on a bit of a roll today. It's Sunday and there's not a lot to do, so I'm just going to do quite a few more lessons and put them on YouTube anyway, and you can work through them at your leisure. So what I'm focusing on right now is tunes from the very slow session, which happens at the Glasgow Folk Music Workshop. So for those of you who go to the Folk Music Workshop, and even those of you who don't, if you Google it, you will see a section on the website entitled Very Slow Session where you can download all of the music. You can hear clips as well, and this will be a kind of lesson to go along with that. So this tune is another march, another 4/4 march called the Barren Rocks of Aden, and it goes really nicely straight after the headlands, which is the one that should just be below this one. So this one is in D. So our first finger is close to our second finger is close to our first finger on the E string, but far away on the A string. So the different thing with this tune is it has three parts: part A, part B, and part C, and all of these parts are repeated. But there's no second time bars or anything, so they're just repeated exactly the way they are. I can't really think of any other tune in Scotland that does this so much. So I'll play it to you anyway so you can hear it. Here it is up to speed. So that third part there, that's definitely the most difficult part, but there's a bowing trick that I'll show you which will make it easier. So to start with, we start on a D on the A string, so that's an upbeat, and the first beat of the bar is the F sharp. So 1, 2. So that's the first phrase. Then it goes. Then it plays the first phrase again. So you'll see that the wee quick notes, I was playing them slurring on an up bow, and the reason I did that was, again, the kind of general rule when you're playing a march: try and start each bar on a down bow, just so that you've got a nice rhythm, okay? So that's, if you realise that you're coming up to the start of a bar and you're going the wrong way, the trick is just to throw in a slur. And the slurs work best on the little notes. So I'll play the first line again slowly so you can hear. So 1, 2. Slur. Good. And then the second part starts in a down bow. So we've got two little quick notes as an upbeat, so you can easily just go down, up, down, and then you're starting bar, first beat of the bar in a down bow nicely. So 1, 2, 3. and we're at the top of our bow now, and there's two little notes coming up, so we need to slur these. So the next phrase goes. Same thing again. The next phrase starts with two little up beats, so we slur them on an up bow. 2, 3. And the same thing again for the end bit. 2, 3. Okay, so that last bar there where we go, although the fingers you're going 2 on the E string and then open. So on the E string, remember your first and second fingers are close together. Then we're going onto the A string for a 2, but those fingers are far apart, so you have to change the spacing of your fingers between those strings. So okay, and then the last part, this is the tricky bit. So I'm going to show you the bowing at the same time. So we start on a down bow. So the notes are, and then first beat of the bar, so you want to just keep your first finger firmly on the E string all the time. Don't take it off, because you're going to always be coming back to that first finger. So you're doing third finger on the E string to first finger on the E string, then you're just swapping your third finger onto the A string, then back to first finger on the E string. So you're like, your fingers are going like this. Okay, so in terms of the bowing, you can do this to make it easier. Up, down, up, down, up. So you're slurring lots of the notes together, and then when it comes time to jump onto the A string and do that one quick note in the A string, you do that on a down bow, and then you do the next 3 notes on an up bow. So going from the very start of the tune, of that section, you can go down, up, and now up, down, up, and that will make it easier to play. And so from the start of that, we've got and then the phrase happens again, slightly different notes but the same pattern. Okay, so this is where you have to watch your spacing of your second finger. Close in the E string, far away in the A string. So we're starting an open E, same bowing. Slur. Then it plays the first phrase again. Slur. Then slur the next 2 notes so that we can start the next bar on a down bow. Okay, so you can make that third part a bit more complicated by putting in some more slurs. So you could start going down, and then the next 3 notes slur them, and then down, slur the next 3, down, up, and then you would want to just slur the next 4, slur. Okay, so as long as you're doing a down bow on that little quick note that you have to jump onto the A string for, and that you're slurring the others, just when you've got the kind of, just that bit, that'll really help you play it a bit more fluently. But there's nothing at all wrong with just going just up and down. It's fine to do that until you get the hang of the notes, no problem. So that's the whole tune. I'll play it again up to speed. There's not a huge amount of ornaments or anything with this one. It's a fairly basic tune, so you don't need to worry about being clever with ornaments. Here it is from the start. Then what you could do is a tune after that in G, which would be really nice. So then you'd have a set, A, D and G. I think there's a link on my YouTube channel called March Set, years ago where I linked the 3 tunes together, so it'll give you a bit of an idea. So happy practicing.